Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. O Allah, benefit us through what you teach us and teach us what benefits us and increase us in knowledge. With this dua, we'll start, and we hope that Allah will open the gifted faculty of intellect which we have kept closed. Normally, we have to use it. So let us try to use this by going into not superficial meaning of whatever we learn, but deeper meaning. Through deeper meaning, what does it mean? The meaning, when we hear something, theory, it enters the ear, and then if you do not comprehend, it goes out, another ear, in, out. But when we have the participation of heart, that means it is going through mental activity to the feeling activity, heart activity, to feel good about it. So that is the internalizing Islam. So we were talking about yesterday, where we did end. We were talking about Islam, definition of Islam, that it is a religion. Islam is recognized as a religion. So this we discussed. But Islam is a religion with a difference. It is a religion which has beliefs and practices. But whatever we believe in the, what do we believe? Our belief system is what we believe? Unseen realities. Belief means you have not seen, that's why we believe. If you see, you don't say I believe. If you don't see, I say believe. And what we believe is realities. But since there are some unseen realities that we have to be concerned about, which we have to be aware of, these are the important realities. When we do not see, for example, Allah, the greatest reality, then it doesn't mean there is no reality. So if there is reality, we must know. But many people will be telling in a different way that the Creator is such and such. So whatever the mental analysis, thinking part, faculty of intellect reaches conclusion, on the basis of that we filter it through reasoning and take it down to heart. So we do this. So unseen realities. What about practices? We have practices also, but these practices are not just rituals for the sake of practice. Every religion does for the sake of practice, because you are asked to do this. If you follow that religion, you do it. But Islam is not similar to any other practices. Islam, whatever it recommends to practice, like Salah, Zakah, 5 pillars of Islam and other things, they are goal-oriented. They are objective-oriented. There is some purpose for this particular practice. There is some benefit. Benefit means with reference to human beings' body, mind, soul, and society. These four aspects beneficial. That's why, since this uh, this particular practice is recommended by the Creator, he has asked us to do those things which are beneficial to all these four aspects: body, mind, soul, and society. So other religions, they have practice, but very strange, and they don't know what is the purpose. Of course, they may be knowing some purpose out of their own guess, but not with certainty. So we believe that Islam is also religion, but it is not religion per se. So that's why we do not use the word religion, we use the word deen. Deen cannot be translated into English. Deen, the word deen, Allah says, Inna Deena Indallahi is Al-Islam. So Allah says, the religion in the sight of God is Al-Islam, or submission to God. But it is not religion. Inna Deena. Inna Deen. So what is the Deen? The nearest translation available in English language is religion. But Deen is not religion, it is religion plus. There is nothing like religious activities and non-religious activities. Every activity is part of the religion. So whatever we do morning to evening, birth to death, part of Islam. The whole package is part of Islam. So this is comprehensive meaning. But those things, secular things, which we do automatically by default, they bring reward provided you bring Allah into picture. It gets spiritual dimensions. Worldly activity gets spiritual dimensions if done to please Allah. So this is religion plus, you can say. Yesterday we also discussed about in the meaning of Islam, there are two components. One is horizontal component, and one is vertical component. The first, connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And other one is horizontal component. That means dealings with the people or creatures. So both together is a package which is makes up the religion. The entire Quran describes in such a fashion. Whenever Quran describes aqimus salah, that means pray, that means connection, vertical component. Immediately it talks about wa'atu zakah, care for the people, give their due. It is their due. You get extra money, so they have their share in that, and this share you have to give. So it is their right to take. Similarly, in this ayatul birr, it is called, because this laysal birr, righteousness. So this describes these particular aspects, the two aspects. Not only belief system, but those who give wealth in spite of love for it, and to whom to give, to relatives and etc. Now these are the activities related to the horizontal component. And then are patient. This activity is individual's personal activities. That means you include in this interaction horizontal component yourself also. You improve yourself also. So these are the things again and again Quran tells. So Then Allah questions, do they seek, that means those who do not believe, other than the deen of Allah, then ulahu aslama man fis samawati wal ard. Whereas every creature has submitted to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and then we went to describe different angles from which Islam can be defined. First, we defined with reference to its literal meaning, then with reference to its meaning as a term, religious term. Then we came to implied meaning. Another approach, another perspective is Islam as an ideology. What is ideology? It is an organized collection of ideas. That's why ideology, or doctrines, or beliefs that form the basis of a religious political system, economic system, etc. So Islam is also an ideology. Islamic ideology is it is explaining about the ideas which Islam possesses with reference to the beliefs and doctrines and things we should do. It's also a worldview. In the world, there are many ideas or any worldviews talking about the way the world is seen. Islam also has its own explanation. So this is a worldview also. Then we described Islam as a course. What is this course? Course in the self-management, to start with yourself. And not only self-management, interpersonal conduct. This is related to your people around. But at the same time, all the while, responding to Allah's presence. God is watching and submitting to His guidance. Then He is watching and He has guided us, and we accept this guidance and follow this guidance. Thereby, what is the result? Attaining peace and fulfillment in life and making clear the meaning of our existence in this world. Why do we exist? So this I think we came up to this point. Yeah, I think now today we'll be talking about the name Islam. Name Islam, how significant it is. There are many religions, every religion has a name, but Islam is a unique religion with so many characteristics in its name. The name itself carries a lot of special features which are not there in any other religious name. So what are those things? It's a descriptive name. It's a functional name. It describes the function of a human being. What is the function of human being? Name Islam describes the function of a human being. What is supposed to do? So what is the function? Sorry?
Worship.
I'm afraid not.
Worship.
Is part of that.
Ibadah.
Sorry?
Worship, ibadah.
Tawheed.
Huh?
Tawheed.
Tawheed is belief.
Knowing the God.
What the word Islam describes the function of a human being. What he is supposed to do. Sorry? Submit. Submission. We started with this point, isn't it? We defined submission to the will of God. So basically, submission. Whenever we hear the name Islam, whenever we utter the name Islam or hear the name Islam, what idea should come in the mind? Submission, self-surrender, following the rules, obeying Allah. This should be the impression we should get when we hear the term Islam. Does it happen like this? No. What we keep thinking, this is a religion. This is the mistake. This is not a religion, this is our function. We are supposed to submit. So this name is a descriptive name. It describes the purpose, what human beings is supposed to do. It's a God-given name. No other religious name is given by God. How do I say? Why do I say is given by God? The word of God tells like this. There is a certificate. There is a certificate that this name has come from God. This name, that means descriptive name, this submission. Since this is description of the activity, every creature submits. So the activity is supposed to be done by every creature, the sun, the moon, the animals, the plants, the human beings, the jinns. Every creature is required to submit to Allah. Submit to Allah means is required to follow the rules of Allah, to obey Allah. Only two creatures there in the creation who have been given freedom to submit or not to submit, obey, not to obey. But rest all creatures, they do not have any choice, they automatically submit. So how do they submit? How do they submit? Other creatures. Whatever Allah has designed the creature, for what function the creature is there, the creature does exactly the same thing. The creature does exactly the same thing for which it was created. Did you get my point? Every creature does exactly the same thing for which it is created. The sun is created to give energy, and the sun gives energy. The earth is created to revolve around the sun in 365 days. Earth exactly takes 365 days. So whatever is designed for the creature, they do. They don't have any option. So it is only human being and jinns. Of course, we are concerned with human beings, not jinns. So these two creatures, they have the ability to obey, choice to obey or not. So Allah says, if you obey out of your choice, this is the submission. This you have to do. Use your option, your choice. Other creatures are doing automatically, by default. Angels, they cannot commit sin. No angel commits sin. Jinns, yeah, they have been given a freedom of choice. So animals, no choice. Whatever nature was given to animals, exactly it follows that nature. So every creature does exactly what for it is created, except human being, and human beings also supposed to submit. Yesterday we described submission, obedience, and worship. They are synonymous terms. You remember yesterday we described different perspectives use this terminology. From one perspective, it says submission, that is Islam. Another perspective, Quran uses the word obedience, ta. Another perspective, ibadah. This is also same thing. All of these activities, ibadah, Islam, and ita or obedience, they have the same connotation. They have the same end result, submission or landing in paradise as a result. So this is God-given name. Name with no attachments. What does it mean? It means as against other religious names which has an attachment to some person, like Christianity, Christ, Buddhism, Buddha, or tribe, Judaism, or a country, Hinduism. There is always attachment. But Islam, there is no attachment. What does it mean? This indicates that Islam is for all humankind. It's a universal religion. Name with no boundaries indicates that validity of Islam, time boundaries, crosses all time boundaries. In the beginning was Islam, in the end will be Islam. That means submission, the act of submission. So we say the different prophets, they were Muslims. This is the reason. The name with focus on God alone. When we define Islam, we define by telling submission to the will of God. What is telling? God is there in the picture. Submission to God. That means you are connecting to God. No other religious name connects to the Creator. So this particular feature is important also. So these are the main characters of the name, title, or identification for Islam, which is unique and indicates it is not limited to some place, some time, and some ism, but it crosses all these boundaries. We want to see Islam in the bigger perspective, in the context of big picture, how the big picture appears. That means big picture means God, human being, how these two throughout human history. We say Islam is not time, doesn't recognize time boundaries. From the day one, when God created human being placed on earth, from that time until the last day, this what is the perspective. So in that we see the humanity has very strange things happening. Originally, humanity was one community. There were not so many religions. Originally, there was only Islam. I think yesterday I told, I don't remember, in the mosque, I conduct tours. So some Christians were there. I was giving tour to the Christians. And the point in time during the tour came when I asked the question, we Muslims, Christians, Jews, we all three believe in Prophet Abraham, that he was father of all prophets, Abul Anbiya, they believe also. And a friend of God, Khalilullah, it is mentioned in the Bible also. So tell me, I'm asking those visitors, tell me what was the religion of Ibrahim alayhis salam, Abraham. So they were lost because nobody thought some religion about Ibrahim alayhis salam. Then I told, if you look closely and do a lot of research, what was the religion of Ibrahim alayhis salam, you will not get. Whatever you try. Why? You will not get? Because it did not exist. In the biblical times, when the Bible was written, those religions did not exist as they are existing today. So this is all later development. So this is a very important point. The religious, we think so many religions, but there are not so many religions. There is no religion except the descriptive religion of submission to God. So this point is important. Why important? We'll see later on. So Islamic concept is the major religions of the world of today are nothing but stages and links to the same original religion for humankind. What was the original religion? Submission to God, God's will, which is Islam in Arabic. Quran says that God has sent prophets and messengers to every nation in the world. Everywhere where human society, civilization existed in the past, Allah has sent to guide people there some messenger. But not all names are given who were sent. For example, there were thriving civilizations in the not only Middle East, with the stories of Noah and Abraham, Moses, Jesus, all those things. This is Middle East focus. What about India, China? There must be also receiving prophets, messengers. Otherwise, God is concerned only in the Middle East. It means God is only partial. He favors only Middle East people and He doesn't care for non-Middle Eastern. Those civilization existed, very great civilizations. Indian civilization and Chinese civilization was great civilizations. So there must be some guide coming there to guide to the truth, to guide humanity to the straight path, to the truth, to reality. So now, for example, we come to India. Does India has India received a messenger? This is the question. Has India received a messenger or prophet of Allah? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Who is that?
Lord Shiva, maybe. We don't know. We don't know, but the scholars say might be those who are worshipping like in the name of Krishna.
Yeah.
It might be their Lord,
Right.
their messenger.
Right. Excellent. So Allah mentions that to every nation we have sent messengers. So India cannot be excluded. But what names we hear in this part of the world who are religious leaders who can be considered whether they were prophets or not, who were giving the spiritual teachings, worshipping God. So we hear the names of Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jain, and some others. So could there be prophets? Yes. Most probably. Why most probably? Why not certainly? Because we do not have certainty unless mentioned in the Quran. Unless mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So since Quran has not mentioned, but Quran has mentioned, some messengers have been by name mentioned in the Quran, and others, many others have not. According to Hadith, 124,000 prophets have come. When Bible 124,000 are not there. So there are so many prophets whose names are not mentioned. Now we do some analysis to see what is the fact. So we try to know the teachings of those people, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, for example. They had very big following. People were following and obeying those rules which were given by these religious leaders. So now, can we say that they could be prophet? We have to now scrutinize. What are the criteria to be a prophet? Then we can say the prophet has certain characteristics. Those characteristics we don't find in these personalities. They are doing certain things which do not befit a prophet, do not befit the a messenger. So how can we say they were the prophets? When we see the character of those people, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, their life history indicates they are doing strange things. Krishna, for example, he was a playboy. He enjoyed women. There are many stories are mentioned. I will not go into those details. Such things is not acceptable to talk about a prophet. So how can we reconcile this, that they could be prophet? We say they could be prophets because of the wisdom they have taught. The book of wisdom, Gita, they say this is the book of wisdom. And there is wisdom in that. What about the stories about them? This is not acceptable. You have to remove, filter out. Whatever doesn't befit a prophet, out. How can we do this? This is very simple. These people came what time in human history? Long, long ago. 4,000, 5,000 years ago. When the scriptures were written down, at that time there was no paper. For example, Hindu scriptures, when were they written down? Buddhist scriptures, when they were written down, brought into writing.
The later tree.
Scholars say, Buddhist scholars say, at least 500 years after Buddha, the teachings were given, written down. 500 years means how many generations? 50 years, one generation means 10 generations passed. If something is written down after 10 generations or 50 generations, how can they be dependable? So what happens? Many things which are not truths, which are fake stories, have also become part of that particular scripture. It doesn't mean there is no truth. It contains truth, but mixed with the fairy tales sort of things. So, as Muslim, we take these things which are not compatible with the Quranic teachings out. Then whatever is left is acceptable. And that's the reason we say these are stages and links. Earlier, what is Hinduism was nothing but originally Islam, submission, activity of submission. Originally Islam. But with passage of time, things changed. Deviation took place to the great extent. The more you go in the history, human history, more deviation we can expect. When deviation have taken place, even in Torah, which is relatively much later, what is written in the Bible? Prophet Lut alayhi salam had illegal relations with his daughters. Is it acceptable? No. A prophet cannot have this incest. But Bible mentions this. So these are the things we have to filter out. This happened in the Bible. What about Buddhist scriptures? What about previous scriptures, Chinese scriptures? Every scripture, when we see, they were written down many generations later. So it is humanly impossible to retain the original teachings. Original teachings cannot be retained for so many years, particularly when language itself was developing. It was changing from time of place to place. The understanding was changing. People were migrating. In all those scenarios, there is every possibility of not recording the truths. So this exactly has happened. So there are certain things which we accept because they are compatible with the Quranic teachings, but other things which are not compatible, we remove. What we see is the remnant of the Islamic teachings. What is remaining in the Islamic teachings? Why I say this? Normally people, when they describe those teachings which Islam possesses, we say similarities between Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Is it similarity? No, actually. The right perspective is, right way to say is, they are not similarities, but they are remnants, remaining part which did not change. this is remnant. That means whatever remained pure, that is available. So originally there was Islam, but with time deviation took place, and then different names were given to those activities, religious names were given, and these names were given by outsiders, not the people of that particular follower of the so-called founder. In fact, there were no founders. Jesus did not say that he is founder of Christianity. The name Christianity itself did not exist during the time of Jesus. Buddha did not say, my religion is Buddhism. The name Buddhism came much later. So these are the problems with the different religious names. Today we have this religious name, but those days when those prophets, which we are saying probably they were the prophets, those names were not, religious names were not there. So this aspect is very important when we compare other religions. So the approach to talk, when we talk to people of other religions, is that we are not telling that we are a different religion. We are telling simply you and us. We were all going on a highway from the beginning, straight. But with time, as time passed, people started going in by-lanes, leaving the main highway, entering sideways. So sideway will not reach the destination, take to the destination. What is the ultimate destination? So before Maghrib, we were talking about the Islamic perspective of other major religions in the world. Where does Islam fit in the scheme of religions, international scheme of religions? So many religions exist. Does Islam have any relationship with those religions, or it is totally different, a new thing? This is the point which we want to discuss. So we discussed that all religions which exist today, Jazakallah khair. Islam considers Islam considers other religions are not parallel religions. If we talk about religion, there is only one religion. If you want to look for religion, there is only one. Does it make sense? May not to some non-Muslims. Between point A and point B, how many straight lines we can draw? Only one. Between the Creator and us, human beings, there is only one straight path. There cannot be so many paths. If the path is taken making an angle, it will not reach the destination, God, true God. So there is only one religion. Then how we can explain existence of so many religions? We say these are not religions to compare. We do comparison. We do comparison, which is not the right attitude Comparison is, suppose I want to buy laptop. There are so many brands available. I go to the shop, computer shop. He has got Sony, Toshiba, blah blah blah, Dell, and so which one you want? This particular thing has this feature. This computer has this feature. This computer has these features. So this. So every religion claims that this person's religion, who follows that particular religion, is the true religion. Then what actually should be the perspective? Perspective should be this religion. If you are looking for a laptop, there is a laptop. Other things, they are like toy laptops. It may look like a computer, but it is fake. Toys we give telephone to our kids. They are happy, small kids. Then it says hello, hello. It doesn't work, but he is happy. Similarly, every religion is happy with whatever they have. They are playing with toys, but they are having a wishful thinking that this is actual religion. So actual religion is nothing but basically, yesterday we defined, anybody on earth, any time in history, any place on earth, whosoever recognizes point A means true God. Not only recognize to the true God, but accepts that true God. Recognizing is one thing, accepting is different thing. I may recognize some entity as true God, so let him be there. He is doing his job, I am doing my job. How do I care? I accept. Accept what? I have some relationship with this true God. What is that relationship? Relationship of obeying Him, submitting to Him. Submission is Islam. So, recognizing true God, accepting true God, submitting to true God. This is the religion. But other religions, they do not have this concept. So, when we talk to people of other religions, we explain this point in the way I am going to tell now. Originally, the humanity was one community. The different religions, as we see today in the world, they were not there. So I was telling this story when I asked the group of visitors what was the religion of Abraham. He was speechless. He did not have any answer. So I explained him, if you even look with a glance and try to find out in the Bible what was the religion, you will not find. Why? For the simple reason, These religions did not exist. These Judaism, Christianity did not exist in the biblical times. The word religion, or the word Christianity, the Christians report, it appeared 40 years after Jesus left this world. This is Christian, themselves, they agree. And this was given by the enemies of Jesus. They said, oh, these Christians, that means who are the followers of Jesus. So, this name has no sanctity. The religious names do not have any sanctity, means they are all gone. There is no parallel brand. They are all fake. Brand is only one. Sorry, this. What happened? Oh. We have observed that all the major religions of the world, whether Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism, Confucianism, Christianity, Judaism, all those religions, they have some similarities in some respects between them. People say our religion is true because of these features. We say that these are not similarities, these are remnants. The remaining part of the original religion Islam, something which is left over is still there in their religion, left over from original Islam. And other things, the human mind became active, so philosophies and other things, historians, stories, they all added to that. So these are things which are, this changed this particular teaching. For example, Hinduism, oldest religion, they have the concept of one God, but they have the concept of one God who is Supreme God, Paramatma. There are them, his assistants, one destroy God, one creator God, and so many things, but there is one Supreme God. Hinduism has a concept of life after death. Hinduism has concept of Swargam Narakam, that means paradise and hell. Where from those concepts have come in the religion? Only original Islam. But the problem is those concepts have deviated to a great extent. The more we go back to a religion which dates far away from Islam, the more deviation you can expect. Hinduism, Buddhism, they were the old religions, so a lot of variation in them. Christianity was the closest to Islam, so we have similarities, so many similarities with Islam. So Islam's the closest religion to Islam historically has the more remnants, more leftovers. For example, when Jesus is reported, how did he pray? He prayed with the demonstration of sujood. He made sujood. He wants to ask Allah, oh Allah, people are troubling me, they want to kill me. So, making dua, to that extent, I do not remember those exact words, But it is reported that Jesus prayed to Allah, putting his forehead down on the ground. Today, which Christian prays like Jesus? No. There are other glimpses, leftovers. For example, Peter and John prayed at an appointed time, and they mention the time also in the Bible is there, 3 p.m., which is Asr time, yes. So similarly, the more you dig into it, I have written that book, Islam and Christianity are seen in the Bible. In this, I have listed so many things which are similar to our Islamic teachings. The basic beliefs or practices, they are all there. But what is important is they are not similarities per se. Technically, they are not similarities. Actually, they are leftovers, remnants. So this puts the non-Muslim, but whatever religion he carries, to believe that Islam in the original form was there. We were all going on a highway, and when the time passed, with the passage of time, people deviated to different degrees. For that reason, I have developed a story of journey of faith, boat story. This is a storytelling in which I explained originally humanity was one. People were traveling the boat. The story tells about 3 groups: Jews, Christians, Muslims. Okay. The journey starts from the time of creation of the world. In how many days? Bible reports the world was created in 6 days. 7th day, God took rest, they say. So, how many days we read in the Quran? How many days? Same thing. So, these are the basic starting points, starting of journey, that time. Then proceeded. Then the time of Noah and the floods come. Both Judaism, Christianity and Islam, that has a story. That means they are traveling together. They are in the boat. As the story comes down, the time of Moses, before Jesus, Moses, you can say, approximately. One group from this boat drops out. They call themselves Jews because they do not recognize the prophets afterwards. They remain until the authority of Moses. They have Torah. But the remaining two groups, they believe Jesus was also a prophet. Jews do not believe in Jesus, so they drop out. Muslims and Christians, they travel together until the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then what happens? This group also drops out. And one group keeps remaining inside the boat until the appearance of Prophet Muhammad. So the story tells that so far as Muslims are concerned, they include all those stories from beginning Adam to Prophet Muhammad. Nobody is excluded. On the contrary, Jews and Christians, they exclude Prophet Muhammad. And what happened to Jews, the second group? When they drop out, they do not recognize Moses. So they remain together until time of Moses. Afterwards, the togetherness is lost. So similarly, extending this story to other religions also, we can say different things, but this point is to explain the togetherness of the different religions. They were all together and they kept believing until certain time those same things, but afterwards what happened? They don't believe. So only Islam believes. Islam is inclusive of all. Jews exclude Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, and Christians exclude only Prophet Muhammad. So these are the things leftovers. So this boat story was told to one group of students brought by one lecturer from America. Some bank related training was there in Bahrain. They come for every year. They were coming earlier. I don't know nowadays. And part of their visit to Bahrain, apart from finances and that whatever they were coming for, to study the culture of the place. So for that they came to Al-Fateh, and they wanted a tour of our Grand Mosque and question answers lecture. So in this particular story, when I told, everybody liked, and then the professor said, excellent story. It gives a picture that we are not different people, we are together. So next year also I'm bringing student, be there if you are there, it's possible. I say, write to me, I will be there, inshallah. So he brought, I was giving 3 years I gave. He used to come beforehand, he used to email me, and I was getting ready and prepared. So this, why I am telling this background is, this had a positive impact. What happens when we debate, through debate, we may win the argument, but we may lose the person. Debate creates friction. But inclusive approach, it shows light. It is not friction. It's open the eyes, open the days. So inclusive approach is preferred over debates. Debates we should not do with ordinary people. Debates is done on a scholarly level, and those who are wants to debate, they are educated people, and educated versus that category should sit together. But ordinary people, any Christian, when we were talking about differences, that Christian said, oh, we never read Bible. So we quote from the Bible this and this and that. Quotation is not important to them. So they say, we don't read. So no point. Don't try to shoot a fly with a gun. Fly is nothing you can just kill. But gun is needed for a bigger animal. Anyway, so this particular approach is a good approach for Dawah with inclusive approach. That means it does not put off the person. It does not corner the person. It does not feel person is a loser. It opens the door to think. It opens the door to a process, triggers a process of thinking. You start, this fellow will not tell openly, but his mind is working, yeah, the point is correct, and how we can do. when I discussed with a Hindu, the Hindu was very offensive in the beginning, but when I gave tour, he cooled down, and he showed a lot of interest. He was an educated person, Pandit means religious person. He had knowledge, so he showed a lot of interest, and he was happy to say that when I translated the submission to God in a Sanskrit language, submission to God, that means submission and God, two words I translated, Ishvara Paranidhan. He said, this whatever you described, excellent, but I have a word, single word like Islam, to what does it mean in Sanskrit? You can use. So I took that name and I started using for later Hindus. So Hindus, when they discuss, I don't put them off. I say, we are together. There is a concept in Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is original or ancient religion. What is that ancient religion? Sanatana Dharma means, the literal meaning is ancient religion. So, but what is that ancient religion? It's not. They say Hinduism. Hinduism, the name itself, is not acceptable to all Hindus. Some Hindus say it is not Hinduism, it is Vedic religion, based on Vedas. So, there was a court case also in Kerala, in India. What is the definition of Hinduism? So much debates were there, and then the judge decided anybody who calls himself Hindu is a Hindu. So, halas, good decision. So, you call yours, because they say if is an atheist, he can be Hindu, a monotheist can be Hindu, a polytheist can be Hindu. When everybody can be Hindu, they explain that yeah, we are including everybody. We don't want divisions, but this particular attitude is not for division. It is, there is no direction, which is right, which is wrong. Nothing is known. It is confusing. Anyway, so this is about Hinduism. Now, about Buddhism, before going there, I will talk about these names of the other religions. What is their origin? They were identification labels which did not exist in the beginning, which appeared with later time. They bear no religious sanctity because they were not given, the name was not given by the founders, it was given by the outsiders, and mostly historians are enemies even. So name is not important. When name is not important, then the whole question of different regions existing drops out. And when they say founder, nobody claimed as founder. Buddha did not say I founded Buddhism. Rama did not say I founded Hinduism. Christ did not say I founded Christianity. So these are all misnomers, wrong names. So these are the important points. These were given by the people outside the faith and at a later time. Okay. Islam is not a new religion. Why this? We must highlight in our discussion with non-Muslim. Most non-Muslims, they think Islam is a new religion. It is an Arab religion. It started 7th century. This is the understanding. That means new religion. And this point is very important to bring in. It is not a new religion. it is the oldest religion. It is not a new religion, it is the oldest religion. How can we say? God, the Creator, is one. I mean, whosoever Supreme Being you recognize, whatever name you give, one. Humankind is one and species, like animals species, tiger species, cow species, like that human beings also a species in the animal kingdom. Every species is given certain nature, inborn nature. The human beings are also given some qualities which are with humans. One of those qualities is freedom of choice. So human beings, when are guided by the Creator regarding their safety and survival, existence, growth, and final destiny, this guidance, this nature covers that particular aspect of freedom of choice. That means the guidance has the aspect of freedom of choice. Other creatures, they have physical laws. Non-living creatures, they have physical laws. Living creatures have instinctively, automatically, they do whatever they do. But human beings have freedom of choice. That means they are given the power not to obey. They can obey or they may not obey. So, in that case, what is the right thing to do? This God has taken upon Himself to guide in these matters, and these matters they covered this particular species human being. Its nature. So, if God is one, human species is one, humanity is one, then the system which is given to human being, that the system, we call it religion, to govern humanity is one and the same. One God, one humanity, one religion. So this is the outcome. Okay. This is a little boring because these are not the things normally we discuss about Islam, and I'm not in a position, my health is not so good that I'm not my usual self. I'm indisposed, so I apologize for this, my inability to actively participate in the discussion. Now, I'm going to prove this point. What was the point? All other religions are not the religion which exists by present day name, but originally Islam. And there are some remnants from Islam even today. So this particular video I recorded when I visited Japan, Tokyo. There was one brother, Japanese, who was Buddhist and he converted to Islam. So I got interested in knowing from him how did he pray as Buddhist. So he demonstrated how he prayed as Buddhist. So I recorded. What is happening? Can you please see? Okay, thank you. This was in my hotel room. I told him, I will record from sideways. Please perform again. So he should. What is he doing? Sujud. Dua. So the way he prayed, it is a remnant of Salah. Why? The pillars of Salah, Arkan al-Salah, Qiyam is there. Again gone. Qiyam is there, Ruku is there, Sujud is there. Again, brother Saeed, can you how to start? This is it worked. Something is to be done here. I don't know.
That's audio.
What was done. Now, if this place, but in slideshow it doesn't pray.
Oh, can you just play it in without slideshow? You can just play it without slideshow and then
Anyway, leave it. They have seen.
if you want to just
Yes.
play it from here for now. Oh, then it doesn't show you there. They can see.
Alhamdulillah. This is ruku. But his ruku is not touching the knees. This is sujud, like Muslims. This is dua in sujud. So when I showed interest in seeing their way of praying, then next day he took me to his temple. And this temple, when we entered, it has an area to make wudu. Even wudu was there in the temple.
Some Muslims also pray like this.
Sorry?
Some Muslims also pray like this.
Yes. This is the wudu area. The water is kept in something like this, and people, when they want to enter, they pick water from this scoop and then wash their feet and hands. So that proves that my argument, they are remnants, is correct. It substantiates my claim. These things are remaining. Buddhism came much later, but still those glimpses are remaining intact. Even Muslims differ in the way they pray. Not exactly all, everybody prays like this. When variations have come among Muslims, which is well recorded how the Prophet prayed, but still variations have come. What about those people who recorded this much later? So there is every possibility that originally the way they were taught to pray was like the right way, but things changed much later. Little bit later. So the when I went to Japan, Shinto, this is the largest religion in Japan. Meaning of Shin is God, Ilah. They also translate as spirit, spiritual essence, which doesn't have any singular plural. To, what is to? To means path or study. Shinto means the way of divine, way of God. Since they mess up with the monotheism, they write gods. Here they say God, there is no singular plural, but here they explain gods because they are different way they do. So this is another thing. And there are video clips on the YouTube which gives different religions, Christians and Jews praying with salah, with sujood and all those things. So this is first-hand record, and I have recorded and I witnessed this, and this is dependable. So of course other things are dependable, but this is my personal record. Now the question comes, if Islam was there before Prophet Muhammad, was this Islam exactly like what came after Prophet Muhammad or little different?
Sharia is different. Sharia.
What is Sharia?
For example, Sharia is day to day the rules what we are doing, like political, sociology, the way the Sharia. If they did sin, for example, thief.
Sharia is law. To make it simple, law. Those things which pertain to civic field, that means human beings living and interacting, those areas, there little change came. But other areas, like belief systems, no change. Why no change? Because beliefs, as we said earlier, beliefs in the unseen reality. So realities do not change with time or with place. Reality remains reality whenever you talk about reality. So differences do have in some areas, but essentially every religion had the same set of rules. rules to follow. So different messengers came with different laws because the civic areas, they were, why they were different? Because the needs of human civilization varied from place to place. Whatever need was there in Japan, China, India, or Middle East, they were different. People were living in a different environment. So suiting to that particular environment, their food habits, their other things, they were different. All those prophets, when we are talking about the prophets in other places like India, China, they were local. Local in the sense they were sent to that particular community. They were not sent for humanity. Only Prophet Muhammad was sent for the entire humanity. And for all times. So the final phase of Islam addresses the entire humanity without any difference in time and place. Islam after Prophet Muhammad is the final. Why it is final? It is completed. How it is completed? It addresses human nature, which can be applied to entire world. Previously, it was not possible. Before Prophet Muhammad, it was not possible. Human civilization was growing. People were not the same. We did not have writing material. We did not have so many things as we have in the 7th century, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, 6th century. So, the final phase, why we say final? Because when it has reached a position to deliver a message which can be understood by entire humanity, which can be followed by entire humanity, this is the time of human development when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he appeared in the history of humanity. Allah chose this particular place, Middle East, this particular language, Arabic, for a reason. The final message of Allah, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to remain intact. So the Arabs were very expert in memorizing things. They used to memorize poetries. They used to have competitions. So memorization, no other example was there. So much of memory power they had. And the language was very rich. It was suited that in a way Allah wanted to express. It's suited with change of time. Every time people can understand. The English language is not a rich language. Arabic language is a rich language. It has potential to express things in a variety of ways. So every time when we read the message of the Quran, these people understand for their period of time. So this is the beauty of the Quran, Arabic language. And memorization was important because this message has been preserved primarily through memorization. Primarily through memorization. It's also simultaneously written down. So both ways, by writing, by memorization, the whole thing is preserved. So the preservation was important to have a final message in its complete form. This was the time, proper place suiting to for that particular final delivery for the divine guidance. This is why the basic source of teachings of Islam is basic source, that means Quran, is preserved intact, word for word. No other book, whether religious or no religious, has been preserved so intact. There is nothing existing compared to this. Some Christian scholars thought that probably these Muslims declare and it has not changed. We will prove there is a change. So what they did, this happened in Germany at the time of First or Second World War. They brought different manuscripts from different museums, other things, to find the differences, different Qurans, copies of Quran. It took 2 years for comparing, and they concluded, yes, there is no change. There is no change. So this is established, historically established fact, historically established. That's why nowadays, Christians, they do not doubt the preservation of Quran. They have verified it has not changed. So the role of present Islam, that means final phase of Islam, is corrective. That means things which were getting deviated from the original teaching, they were corrected. Christianity was nothing but Islam, but Christians were deviating, so the corrections have to be made. So this is corrective nature, and culminating means giving final touch. Culminating is final, that means the gold received its pure form 24 carats. There is no 26 carats. This is final 24 carats gold. We make ornaments 18 carats, 16 carats, like that. So it is not correct to say it's a new religion. Nothing is innovative, and nothing we are competing. We are not inventing. Why Muslim women wear hijab? The simple answer is it was being worn by people before, Christians before. And they have remnants confined only to nuns. They wear hijab. But other ladies, they have dropped. They have changed. So, remnants, the remaining part from the original Islam. So, all other practices also we find remnants existing today. So, it is not correct to say it's a new religion. Now, this last question. We were discussing the name Islam. We defined Islam in different ways. Why did this?
Collaborate and tea break for half an hour. 15 minutes. Collaborate and 15 minutes tea break.
Yeah, okay. Sorry?
Start from 6:30 to 7.
No, better to leave early because they start before 6:30.
Yeah, Kama is
Yes. So, please, we'll give break. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We discussed to understand the meaning of Islam from different angles. And we had a long discussion, and that leads to the question, is it so important really to talk about only the meaning of Islam? We are already Muslims. We are praying, doing all those things required. Why all this unnecessary? Does it help in understanding? So, yes, it helps both Muslims and non-Muslims. Muslims, how does it help? If I understand Islam comprehensively, that means I internalize Islam and I really understood Islam, but I'm not able to adhere to what I learned, and still I claim I am Muslim, that your claim has no weight. You are claiming something which you are not able to express in your actions. So this becomes wrong claim. But understanding the meaning, internalizing the meaning, it helps us to strengthen our iman, strengthen our actions in a way that would be acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, it is a wishful thinking that we are claiming something and we are happy about it, but actually there is no weight to this. So it does help Muslims. It helps them also to invite non-Muslims to Islam, because unless we understand ourselves, Islam in a comprehensive way, non-Muslims have variety of background. How to convince them in a logical way? We can do this only by properly understanding the meaning of Islam. So with this approach, when we talk to non-Muslims, it helps for a effective dialogue. How does it help non-Muslims? It helps them as it removes the misconceptions about Islam. Misconception about Islam was, the greatest misconception is Islam is a new religion. And what we understand that Islam is not a new religion, it is the oldest religion. And all other religions, they are expressing the same original Islam. If this is the case, you are not a different person. We belong to the same community who recognize God, who accept God. It is different thing that we are not in a position to submit to God. All people are not the same way they submitting. Only Muslims are submitting, which has a proper sense. Others, they are wishful thinking. This awareness creates, this particular approach creates an awareness to and curiosity. They are aware that Islam is what we were thinking, the other religion. No, it is not the other one. Basically, it carries forward from what we have in the past. And If this is the case, then the person will reflecting upon the differences why we have developed later on. So there is a chance that this will help without offending their feelings. Now we come to one great misunderstanding of Islam. This is a misunderstanding by Muslims. Muslims think that they have understood Islam, but truly speaking, they didn't. How? Okay. What Muslims think about Islam normally, without this knowledge of Islam, which we discussed it at length, they practice Islam, adhere to the 5 pillars of Islam, thinking that they have done their duty. No more, nothing is more required. So their actions are confined only around 5 pillars of Islam. Having done that, they feel good that Alhamdulillah, I'm praying, fasting, giving zakat, going for Hajj, everything I'm doing. So my visa to Jannah is there. I will go inshallah. So this is what they believe. But if they understand that this understanding is not correct, the Islam which they understand is only one component, that is vertical component. But actually Islam has the horizontal component. What is the vertical component? It is connecting to the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doing acts of worship, ritual acts of worship. But there is a horizontal component also, that means connection to the people. Not only people, but other creatures. Not only other creatures, but myself included. So this is the horizontal component. If we do not fulfill in this aspect, then we have failed to adhere to Islam. What we are doing is only partial. So this is the thing which I am going to explain. This is evident from what we see describing the 5 pillars of Islam. Whosoever has drawn these pictures represents pillars in isolation. One pillar is this, one pillar is this, one pillar is this. This is the title of the book from where this Arkan al-Islam are taken. These pillars are standing. There is a shadow. Only pillars. So the concept of pillars of Islam is confined only to pillars. What is pillar? Pillar is support to the structure, support to the building. If you remove the pillars, building will collapse. Building cannot stand. So this is to support. And that concept is not evident in this. In isolation, we see these pillars standing. So the result is, when the child learns pillars in this fashion, then it will adhere to this. That's all. His Islam is complete. No vertical component, no horizontal component. Now What is the source of five pillars? Did we discuss earlier? No. What is the source of five pillars of Islam? Sorry?
Hadith of Jibreel when he came to Prophet Muhammad.
Good.
Mal Iman, Mal Islam.
Yeah. There is a hadith which is called Hadith Jibreel. This is very fundamental hadith, very important hadith. Why do we say Hadith Jibreel? Was it narrated by Jibreel alayhi salam? No. There is a mention of Jibreel alayhi salam in his hadith. There is a long hadith in which it is reported something like this. Once the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was the time towards the end of his Madinian life, when the Prophet was sitting along with his companions, some new face, some person came in very white clothes, and he was not known to anybody. He's a stranger, but there is no sign of traveling. It doesn't look like a stranger. How come? And then he came and sat very close, touching to the Prophet. The companions were surprised. What is going on? And then he started asking questions. He asked the questions, 4 questions he asked, or 4.5, you can say, 5 questions. And when the Prophet replied, he said, "You are correct." Then the companions, Sahaba, they were surprised. He is asking also and says, "Correct." So what is this asking? Why is asking then if he knows? Okay, what were the questions? What is Islam? How the Prophet described the 5 pillars which we have, which we memorize or give to children, and we adhere to 5 pillars. So these pillars testifying there is no deity except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and Salah, Zakah, and all those things. Shahada, 5 daily prayers, fasting during Ramadan, Zakat, Hajj. Okay. What was the second question? What is Iman? And then Prophet ﷺ replied 6 points. So these became pillars of Iman. How many pillars of Iman? 6. Pillars of Islam, 5. Okay. Then he asked another question. What was that? What is ihsan? And the Prophet replied, you worship God as if you are seeing Him. If you cannot see Him, at least He is seeing you. That means consciousness of God. In activities, whatever activity we do, we have to be conscious that I am doing this in presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is watching me. So this sense develops taqwa in our heart. Then what was the question? What is this? When the last hour will happen? Last hour means Qiyamah, last day. When it will happen? Then the Prophet replied, the questionnaire, you are asking the questionnaire and one who is questioned, both do not know when it will happen. this knowledge is with Allah alone. Then he said, yes, it's correct. Okay. Sahaba are watching in a amazing way, unbelievable way. And then he asked about the science of the last day. Anyway, so coming to the pillars of Islam, this is the source. What is the source? Hadith. Okay. What is the relative position between Quran and Hadith? Which one is primary, fundamental primary source? Quran. Why? Because this is the word of God, Kalamullah, which stands supreme. Source of man, source of teaching is what Allah says. And then what Prophet says is the explanation of Quran in practical terms is an example. So he described all these things, and then Prophet this Jibreel alayhi salam left the gathering. So people were waiting for his departure so that they can ask, who was this, what is going on? But before that, Prophet himself said, do you know who was this? They said, no, we didn't know. He said, he was Jibreel alayhi salam. And then he said, why he came? He came to teach your deen. Teach your deen. So deen is not just pillars of Islam. Deen included so many levels. One is Islam, one is Iman, another is Ihsan, and one is consciousness of the last day, and all those things. Put together, this is the picture of deen. Now, in this whole picture, we have taken only selectively first part. What is Islam? It describes pillars of Islam. So focus is only on pillars of Islam, which is not correct. Pillars of Islam is not deen. Pillars of Islam are practices in deen. Connection with the vertical connection which I was talking about. Connection with the Creator. This is the only part which composes Islam. Submission, by its meaning, by its function, submission, practice, demonstrating physically. So this hadith is a long hadith, as mentioned here. So I will not, I've already told this, so I'm not repeating. He came to teach you your deen. So, we say the pillars of Islam are the backbone of this religion, deen. These are the obligatory actions. You must do this, which are required by every Muslim. If you follow Islam, means you practice these 5 to whatever extent you can do, except Salah and Shahada. Every Muslim is bound to those. There is no lenience. But other things, there is, if you are poor, if you are not capable, there are some alternatives we can substitute. Why they are called pillars? Because they support. So what happens? We adhere to the pillars of Islam. Very good. You should. But the focus remains mainly on the 5 pillars, not beyond. To the extent that we get unmindful of our other duties, obligations. We are confined only to 5 pillars of Islam as obligatory, but we are not mindful of other duties. What is the result? Lack of proper understanding of what is Islam. You are adhering to practices in Islam, but you are not knowing what is Islam. We think about Islam mainly in terms of practices in Islam. These practices, ritual practices. A good Muslim may not behave for this reason as a good human being. The result is, if we remain focused on acts of worship, ritual acts of worship, and don't pay any attention to fulfilling the rights of people, then you are not following, you are not behaving like a good Muslim. So that's why we see the disparity. There are people who look very religious. From appearance, they look religious. From their dress, they look religious. And they have degrees from the religious university degrees and high status in knowledge. All these things are there. But when it comes to practicing Islam, dealing with people, they don't mind cheating, they don't mind lying, they don't mind treating badly, they don't mind showing arrogance. And these qualities they express, which means they are not focusing other than 5 pillars of Islam. So this is a dangerous result. If we have not understood, then our Islam becomes by chance, because we are born in Muslim family, so we are Muslims. If Kumar is born in Hindu family, he is Hindu. If Elizabeth is born in Christian family, he is Christian. So whichever religious parents follow, you become that particular religion. And your case is no different. You are born in Muslim family, so you are Muslim. So what is the difference between them and you? What is the difference? We are on the same page. We have become by chance. We were born in Muslim family. Otherwise, we would have been a different religion. What is required is to choose Islam. Islam should be by choice. What does it mean? You have to understand why I should be Muslim. This is Islam by choice. Alhamdulillah, we are Muslim. It doesn't mean that we should not feel bad. But the religion which you learn in our childhood with this sort of approach, it remains, intellectual remains only there, and we do not go deeper in understanding. We remain superficial. So this superficial understanding cannot lead you to really understand the Islam as a package, vertical component, horizontal component. This is a full package. So this Islam becomes by chance. We keep ourselves with the rituals, with focus mainly on, as a Muslim, what are the practices we must do, and these practices how to be done. So what we do, what we should do, and how we should do. These are the things which are learned. After learning that, our learning capacity does not increase, though we increase in age. So results is that we remain stuck at that particular level of our understanding, which we learned in childhood. What is missing? What is missing? In what to do, how to do?
Why we need to do?
Sorry?
Why we need to do? Why should we?
Why we should do? Why we should do? We don't question. Why we don't question? It is a command from Allah we are doing. No. The question is why Allah has commanded this. When the non-Muslims are given tour in that, this is the question I ask. If they don't ask, I ask them. Why Muslims pray? Why means not only just reason, the aim and objective, purpose, meaning behind, all those things are included in the question why we do. Allah doesn't need our prayers, but why He is commanding to us to pray if it is not there? So this particular understanding is missing, this particular approach of understanding Islam. I talked to you about the relative position of the word of Allah and what is Quran and Hadith Jibril, which is more important between Quran and Hadith? Quran, of course. What is the source of Hadith Jibril? Hadith. What is the difference between Hadith and Sunnah? Do you know the difference?
Hadith is in written form.
Hadith is the Sunnah in written form. What is Sunnah? Three things. What Prophet said, what Prophet did, his actions, what Prophet did not do, but he approved such an action is valid, approved for others. So approval also becomes part of Sunnah. And these things were brought into record in some books. So these are the books of Hadith. The people who were present at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they had direct access. So they could ask Prophet himself. But afterwards, how can they know Sunnah of the Prophet? They have not seen Prophet, they are not hearing Prophet and his instructions. So for later generations, what has happened? The scholars have taken pains to preserve that Sunnah by writing books of Hadith. And since this is written by human beings, there are many ahadiths which needed scrutinizing. So scholars have done this scrutinizing and categorized hadith. This is dependable hadith. This is weak hadith, not dependable. This is fabricated hadith. It doesn't have any basis at all. So this classification attempted in books of hadith. But what is Sunnah remains Sunnah, source of Islamic teaching. So when we compare Quran and Sunnah, Quran is number one. So all this introduction was to tell this point. Allah's command. What is Allah's command? He uses the word وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ. Allah has ordained you. He has made obligatory for you. What is that? Allah ta'budu illa iyyah. You don't worship except Him. This Tawheed concept. This is the first commandment, you can say. Most important commandment for Muslims is to worship Allah. None other than Allah. What is the next commandment in the same ayah? Same ayah, without full stop. What is the next commandment? This is horizontal component. Vertical component is worshipping Allah. What is horizontal component? Be kind to your parents. Such an important command. Where does it appear? In 5 pillars of Islam. It is not there. You are adhering to Islam very religiously, but Allah's command, which is giving with force, along with His own with His interaction with Him, He is telling us this is also equally important. And this thing is missing from 5 pillars. This is to highlight the importance of understanding Islam. Yeah, Islam is not just 5 pillars, but 5 pillars mentioned by the Jibril Hadith is referring to only practices of 5 pillars. So why I say 5 only practices? Because ultimately, after everything happened, before going Jibril alayhi salam, after going Jibril alayhi salam, Prophet said he came to teach you your deen. So deen includes all those components. Inna deena indallahi Islam. The deen, this is complete package. Deen you cannot pick and choose, only one part. So 5 pillars Islam is not Islam. It's a part of Islam. Practices of Islam. This is a very important point to understand. This example which I gave for the vertical and horizontal component. There are many examples in the Quran. Many places you will find when Allah mentions something related to Him, He also mentions related to people, side by side. For example, in this ayah, Allah enjoins, serve Allah and join not any partner without shirk, and do good to people. This Allah and then people. Which people? These people, this category of people. So this is one example. In the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, in Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, again there are many ahadith, very strong ahadith, in which Prophet ﷺ said, you are not a believer if you don't do this. He is Prophet putting you away from calling you a believer, who he will not be believer until he loves for his Muslim brother and sisters, of course, what he loves for himself. Okay. There are many such statements. He is not a believer, the one who goes to his bed with full stomach and his neighbor is sleeping without food, nothing to eat. How can a Muslim, if you are a believer, this is Islam and this action are not together. It cannot happen. Prophet said, you are not a believer. Such an important action which relates to people. Horizontal component. The Muslim is the one that people are safe from his tongue, the way he speaks, and his hands, the way he acts. These are very strong statements. You are not Muslim. So, pillars of Islam is okay, but remains the representation of vertical component, not the complete package. Speaking good word is charity. This is speaking. Speaking is not a religious act. Just you are speaking to people, but speaking nicely, this is charity. Speaking to your brother with a smile, this is charity. So charity, that means spiritual dimension to the activity, is in many ways it is expressed. Once the Prophet ﷺ was told by these poor companions, O Rasulullah, our rich brothers, they edge over us because they have a lot of money to give charity. We are poor for none of our mistake. So how can we compete with them? We cannot. Then the Prophet said, why do you think charity is only giving money? This is charity, this is charity, this is charity. He mentioned a number of things. So all those things related to our worldly activities. Removing something harmful from the road, this is charity. Meeting with a smile, this is charity. Helping to ride, this is charity. So many mundane things become charity. Okay, now this picture. I told in the beginning, Islam is conceived as isolated pillars. It looks like a desert and pillars are standing there. Can we live such a place with pillars? Is it livable? No. Nobody can live such a place. It has pillars. What does picture say? A beautiful building. It has not only pillars, it has walls, roof, windows, even garage. I can park car also. So many, including luxury items. Is it livable? Is it livable? Yes. I love to live in such a place. Not in this place. But when we study Islam, pillars of Islam, with such picture, that means we are mentally programmed to think in isolation, not as a package. Islam is accepted in isolation, practicing related to one single component, vertical component, connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ritual aspect. So this is a great misunderstanding. How did I how did I include it in my points of discussion? When I came to Bahrain, in the beginning, I started career in Dawah. We started discover Islam. And at that moment, my Dawah understanding was zero. I was like any other nominal Muslim. I was practicing Muslim, praying 5 times and 5 pillars I was following. But Dawa, what is Dawa, how it is done, this I didn't know. It so happened that some doctor in Bahrain Defense Force, BDF, was interested in Islam. And one knowledgeable person, scholarly person, he told me, let us go to meet this doctor. He is showing interest in Islam. So I become very excited. Yes, I will see how Islam is introduced. Then this scholar was very nice person, very friendly. He praised the doctor, you are a very good doctor and people like you. And we understand that you are showing interest in knowing about Islam. He said, yeah, I'm not happy in Hinduism. So I want to see, after coming to Bahrain as a Hindu, I found things are different here. So I want to know. Then he said, Islam stands on 5 pillars. Islam stands on 5 pillars. This. If you follow these 5 pillars, you will go to paradise. If you don't follow, maybe hell. And these are the pamphlets giving some details. If you have further questions, please ask me. And then we came. So at that moment, struck me, what is this? He should be taught what is Islam, but what is being taught? Pillars of Islam. This will confuse that Hindu. Why pillars have appeared? What is the role of pillars in Islam? So I was not satisfied by this particular approach to introduce Islam. Then I began my career and slowly, gradually doing research and learning from people. I got some confidence to do Dawah. So this is right from the beginning. This was 5 pillars of Islam was my problem. This is not 5 pillars of Islam. We should, if you ask also a normal Muslim, introduce Islam to a non-Muslim, he will do the same thing. Islam means 5 pillars. Islam means this. Do this. So this approach is not correct. This is one point I wanted to say. Okay, that leads to the question. The pillars is one thing. Then what makes the house? Complete house. Complete house represents with roofs, with doors, with windows, with other facilities, so many things. Then it's a livable place. That means this is Islam. So how to describe, instead of pillars of Islam, the structure of Islam? How to introduce structure? What is the structure of Islam? Not pillars of Islam. So for a structure of Islam, there is no directly from Quran or Hadith, but you can come up with your suggestion what the structure could be. So what I did, I came up with this structure of Islam. This is nothing but same old previous picture where I showed vertical component and horizontal component. This rights of Allah is the vertical component and this is the horizontal component. I teach to the students. I teach the students if you are certain grade 8th, 9th, 10th, any grade. And you have to write exam and get promotion to the next grade. You do not have only one subject. You have to write mathematics, science, history, geography, social studies, and many things. So there are many subjects. Our life is a test. Our life is a test. And what we write in this test, these are the subjects we appear for test. Subject of Allah is tested. Subject of humans is tested. Subject of creatures and your own self. So, when we come to this first subject, we understand, yes, there is Allah, we starting La ilaha illallah means Allah, we have started. And we remain stuck. We may do good performance there. We may get good marks in this subject. But in other subjects, you get 10%, 15%, 20%. Would you get promotion? No, you will fail. You should qualify to get minimum basic points in each subject to be upgraded. If you score at least, not 100%, but 50% in each subject, then you are entitled for promotion. But if you score 100% in one subject and 0% in another subject, you will not. If you fail in one subject, you are gone. So these are the 4 subjects we write exam. And what are these 4 subjects? These are the vertical component I was talking about. It has 2 dimensions. One is inner dimension, internal dimension, and the other one is outer or external. Inner refers to the condition of heart and mind. Outer represents the actions, physical actions, performance. So, our relationship with Allah has to be both inward and outward. Same case in the question of, with reference to your self. You have inner self and outer self. That inner self means how is your heart, how your mind, how you think. So these things are like morals and etc. They belong to inner self. And what is outer self? Pertaining to the body parts, to keep it healthy, hygienic, to get education. These are all outside things. So these are all part of Islam. So any activity which is performed in accordance with Allah's guidance, this becomes an act of worship. Allah. It becomes, worship is nothing but another way to express, ibadah expresses submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same thing, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are all 3 terms: submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Islam; obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is ta'ah; and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is ibadah. They are all ultimately one and the same. They are not different. We are seeing them from different angles, but the end result is one. You are landing in paradise. So yesterday I showed those things. Okay, now I will go to talk about something which the previous weekdays group, last day of their group, I was sick, so I could not present. Something was important and I left. You remember, I was talking about Islam basics, its building blocks, 6 building blocks I pointed out. The first point to start with is Allah. If you want to know about Islam, first building block is Allah. There are some basic questions which identified for each block, 3 or 4 questions. So in all 6 blocks, I have 20 questions. They are basic questions which every Muslim should be clear. Then only we can say that we now know what is Islam. They are basic questions. So if you don't know the basics, then you are not what you claim. So first building block, Allah, I had covered it briefly. Of course, it is more detailed. What was the second? Human being, man. Questions related to man. These are the questions related to man. Then I had the topic religion, then worship, then iman, then amal saleh, amal, behavior. So this thing, a complete package, is to represent Islam. In this, I had told that I had identified certain special features of this creation, man, human being. Human being is a very special creature, not special, very special creature. And we, as human being, we must know who are we. If we don't know, then you don't know Islam. So this is important. So what are those features I had presented to the other group, and I am going to present. Human being, a very special creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a saying, Man arafa nafsa, faqad arafa rabbah. This is not hadith, but there is a famous saying, but it is not clashing with the Islamic teachings. This is acceptable to scholars also, and they say, Ibn al-Qayyim has said, whoever knows himself well would keep himself, whoever knows himself, he knows his Lord. Knowing yourself leads to knowing your Lord, Rabb. So Ibn Qayyim says that whoever knows himself well would keep busy himself reforming himself, not criticizing to the qualities in others. Instead of talking about faults in others, trying to please Allah instead of trying to please himself. So our actions are prompted by these promptings. So the message is, we should understand who are we. We should understand who is man, what is human being. So human being is a very special creature in several ways. In what way? In his creation, how Allah created is special. In his nature, Allah has put his nature which is not given to anyone. In his status in the whole scheme of creation, the whole universe, which is very vast. The human being who is insignificant, but he occupies a great status. You should know. You are the manager, so you should know. And what is the job description? So human being, understanding human being is, these are the things, important points in that. So I go point by point. First point, the Creator has blessed him, the human being, with honor and dignity. The first thing we should know, that we human beings, whether we are Muslims or not, we human beings, we are honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Creator. If Allah has honored, who are you to dishonor? Allah has given this honor, dignity. Who are you to take away? You cannot. So if somebody thinks he is really good and the other person is not acceptable, this is not correct. This is the Surah Bani Israel, ayah number 70. The second point is, Allah has put other creatures under His service, and thus He enjoys countless favors, both inner and apparent, outside, apparent and hidden. This is from Surah Luqman. All other creatures are subservient, put under our control, including the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind. We make use of them. Sakhara lakum ma fis samawati wal ard. Sakhara lakum is addressing human beings. This is a great favor. And He has lavished His favors upon you. Asbagha. Given abundantly. So much, even if you don't deserve. So this is a great favor. Some are visible to you, you notice. Others are not visible. So both included. Third, Allah commanded the angels to accept the superiority by bowing down to Him. Angels who are asked to bow down to Adam alayhi salam. So this is the source. Yes, 15, 20 to 30. In His creation, a special creature in the sense of that Allah has created him in the best form. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. That means it's superlative position. So in this taqweem, in this mold or makeup, body, mind, intellect and soul, all are included. They have no other creature has been given this particular honor. Fifth, human being is a special creature in the sense that Allah created for him by His own hands. Imagine, Allah is talking about human being that I have created with my own hands. Of course, Allah has created every creature, but this particular style is not mentioned about any other creature other than human being. That brings to this is the speciality with human being. Allah is telling Iblis, why you disobeyed me when I am telling you something which I made by my own hands, you don't bow down to him? So this question is making human beings such a special creature. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِي مِنْ رُوحِي, from my soul, when I breathed into him of my spirit, then bow down before him. Here, his own spirit, mir ruhi, his own spirit, is not to be mistaken as Allah's spirit is given to human spirit. No, it means the spirit created by Allah and owned by Allah, my spirit. Another point, human beings given a special power, authority to inherit the rule on earth. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَعَلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. I am going to make a deputy, a successor, an authority, putting under this whole earth under his control and giving power all to perform the job. Thus, it's a huge responsibility given to human being. The special powers and authority and control over other creatures are given to him to do the job and discharge the responsibility for which he has been sent. Based on his God-given abilities, he would be questioned in the hereafter. It is not just giving and leaving you. You are accountable. You have been given a task with full authority. If you performed well, it's good. Otherwise, you will be questioned. It is not just one way. So, do you think that you will be left to yourself without purpose? Everything has a purpose. Even your hearing, your seeing, your heart, they are all accountable. What is going on, what you do using these gifts, you have been given a lot of power, authority, so you will be questioned. Allah has bestowed man with certain divine qualities. Divine qualities means the qualities or sifat which are possessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He has given to this creature, human being, not given to other creatures. But the difference is, those qualities of Allah are unique. Our qualities are not unique. They are defective, limited, given at one point in time, they will be taken out. They are not eternal, whereas Allah's qualities are eternal, absolute, even unlimited, infinite. So this is the uniqueness. So what are those qualities? For example, Allah has got knowledge on the basis of which the whole universe works. This whole creation is there. So human being also has been given knowledge, but to a limited extent. Human being also has wisdom. Allah has wisdom, human being has wisdom, knowledge and wisdom. Creativity, another quality. Allah creates, and human being also create things. We have created computers. We have created aeroplanes. We have created. Our creation is limited to create things from already created. That means we are making things. We are not creating actually. We are making things. Allah's creation is original creation. It was not existing, came into existence. Badi'u samawati wal ardh. Freedom of choice. Allah is free to do whatever He wants. This freedom is given to a certain extent to you also. You should do something, but it's up to you. If you obey Allah and do or don't obey, okay. This freedom is enjoyed by human being, of course by jinns also. Compassion. Allah Rahman. Allah introduces Himself basically from the point of compassion. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. The first ayah of the Quran, introduction of Allah, comes with Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Who is Allah? How is He? Ar-Rahman. What next? Ar-Rahim. Both related to compassion, care, kindness, mercy. Rahman and Rahim, both related, based upon the mercy. Okay, so this is not from the Quran. This is from the Hadith, Sahih Hadith. Bukhari and Muslim also. Allah has created Adam in His own image. So the interpretation of this particular thing is, different scholars have given different explanations, because this is the saying of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Interestingly, even the Bible says the same statement exactly. Allah created Adam in His own image. So, human being is created. Adam represents proto-human, first human. So, he is a representative of humanity, you can say, in that context. But some scholars say this refers only to Adam alayhi salam. So, you may agree, you may disagree, but this is a fact some scholars have explained. This refers to, image refers to the qualities. Allah doesn't have image. So, Allah has qualities. We know Allah through His sifat. So, the Hadith explains certain qualities which are exclusive with Allah to a small degree. He has given to human beings, no other creature. So these were the 9 points I could collect to highlight the specialities of human beings, unique qualities of human being, no other creature. Then Allah questions, Ya ayyuhal insan, ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. What is wrong with you? I have given so much of my favors, still you are ungrateful. What is wrong with you? I have appointed a manager of the earth. You are dominant on earth. You do so many things. And still you are not able to connect to me, not thanking me. What is wrong? Allah is asking because your origin, what is your origin? Nothing, insignificant. From a drop, and you have become big man and enjoying this power control, showing arrogance to Allah. You are insignificant and He has given you so much high status. This is the way you treat. the shameful attitude of ingratitude and arrogance towards the Creator. We are not created to be just a living creature and like animal. We are created for certain bigger purpose, and for that purpose Allah has given power and authority and wisdom to run the show, perform the job. So this was the things which I wanted to share. Inshallah, those who did not could not come. I mean, they must have come, but I was not able to present this second group in the night. So Sister Najma said that I should include for the benefit of those also people. So now
The 5 defects.
we have to, sorry?
5 defects of Muslims.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about the plight of Muslims. Our Islam, since it is not by choice, we are not really Muslim in the sense we claim to be Muslim, but without understanding, and we are behaving in a wrong way, and that is the reason Muslims, even though they are big in number, high percentage, when Islam started, only few people, handful, and now 23% of the world population, every 4th or 5th person is a Muslim. Even then, our voice is not there. We are treated like a doormat. Everybody comes and rubs the feet. So why this? Allah says that unless you change your condition, you will not progress. And Allah says, you will be at the top of the world provided you have true Iman. وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. True believers. So when we are not able to feel that top position, which we were superpower. How long? About 1,000 years, at least 8 centuries. Muslims were superpowers and leaders of humanity, human civilization, development, owes to Muslim. But unfortunately, even Muslims do not know today. I was addressing my university students. I asked, which is the oldest mosque in the world outside Middle East? Sorry?
India, Kerala.
I think. Any guess from sisters? Guess. Why so much time? Because we don't have knowledge. It is China. Islam reached China within 100 years. One Sahabi could go there and his maqbara is there, his grave is there. And this mosque is operative since then. 13th centuries, 14th centuries, oldest mosque. how Islam could reach China within 100 years and accepted by people far away from Arab land. When we did not have aeroplanes, we did not have telephones, WhatsApp, nothing we had. But still, within 100 years, Islam was there. This was the potential of Islam to spread. And that's why it spread like a fire. There is no other religion which spread so fast and so far away like Islam. And Muslims became the superpower. They were the inventors of many things, many sciences, military, art, culture, medicine. They were leaders. The textbook written by Ibn Sina on medical, Qanun al-Tib, was being taught in Europe for 400 years. Textbook. We Muslims don't know. Why we don't know? Why do we don't know? We should know our past, our contribution to humanity, but we don't know. Why? You have been denied the knowledge. Muslims and Christians were at war with each other. So when Muslims were colonized by Western powers, then this decline started. The superpower has become inferior power. To the extent that even Muslims started thinking the West is the topmost people in the world. And the knowledge of past was denied to Muslim education system so that they occupy that particular position. I asked these students whom I addressed the first question, another question, who invented the airplane? Who invented? Tell me. Who invented airplane? Wright brothers? Wright brothers? Wrong brothers. Not Wright brothers. The Wright brother was Ibn Farnas, Arab, who attempted solo gliding 100 years before Wright brothers. So this is our innovative things. So these things I have mentioned in my book, Islam and Muslims. The contribution of Muslims to human civilization. I mentioned certain points, certain people who contributed greatly. Those days, we did not have a distinction between religious education and secular education. The scientists were also Hafiz al-Quran, scholars of Quran. So they did not have any distinction. The third question which I asked, this was in Pakistan, which is the oldest university in the world, today, which is the oldest university surviving for a long time. Yeah, you are from Egypt, so there is no problem. But people don't know. Al-Azhar, it is surviving for more than 1,000 years. This university was not a university which is present-day university. It was a complete package of knowledge. Din Dunya was not separated. But gradually things changed and we have become unaware of all this contribution. There were many universities in the past run by or started by Muslims and run by Muslims where Europeans used to come. Nowadays we go to Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford and all this, America, Europe. Those days even European kings, princes, they used to send their children to get education in the Muslim universities. This thing changed, reverse. This is the great loss to our heritage, our power. So, what went wrong? Why this happened? So, I was pondering upon this. I came up with certain results. You may have some differences, but doesn't matter. What I could think of, there are 5 defects, shortcomings in our understanding of Islam. What are those things? I have a lesson, complete lesson, presentation also, I talked about. So, I will mention those 5 things, which are, I say, the characteristics of our Islam, our understanding of Islam. Our understanding of Islam with reference to our actions, that means hypocrisy. Our Islam is imitative. We imitate the parents. Like the example I gave, Kumar, Elizabeth, and they were born in one family, one group, one religious group. So they are there. So ours is also the same case. Our Islam is imitative. We have imitated. We have not sought for Islam. We have not discovered. We did not choose Islam. It has come. Our parents have left some money, for example, property, so we inherit. Unless you hard earn, you do not realize the importance of that. So this is what. So what is the defect? Too far away from the primary sources of teachings. Imitative, how to correct this imitativeness? Go back to the primary sources of teachings. Instead of imitating what the society does, what the parents do exactly. No. What Quran says, what Allah says, what Rasul says, do that. If you go back there, you will reach the right course. The second defect, robotic, mechanical. Our following Islam is very mechanical. We perform like robot without understanding, mechanically, with blind following, lacking the spirit, unmindful of aims and objectives of whatever we do in Islam. Third defect is our Islam is selective. Selective means we have selected certain things when we show our Islam. We selected, for example, Ramadan when we become very practicing Muslim, not leaving any salah. Suiting to our conveniences. Another defect is we have messed up with the priorities. We have not put first things first. We do not start from basics. Foundation is not there and we develop things. We give importance to non-issues, but main issues we are unmindful. What is the main issue? Iman. Iman should be the first thing to be strengthened. This is not there, but we say, oh, your length of the beard is so small. So this is priority? No, it's not priority. Your iman is the priority. A person is suffering from cancer. You are not concerned. And if he sneezes, oh, he caught cold. Let us go to emergency. Salmania. Why so much worried about this particular thing, which is not so important? Some viral infection will be cured. But cancer, no, is a fatal illness and you are not bothered. So this is another defect. Priorities are messed up. Unimportant things are given importance. More important things are not given that importance. Non-issues have become issues. Issues have become non-issues. Secondary issues. And reactive. Our Islam is reactive. Emotionally, we are showing the reactions, reacting to what we dislike. Burning the cars, burning the buses, tires, and all these things, showing anger. This is reaction. What is required? Proaction. That means don't allow these things to happen in the first place. Why it has happened? You are responding to what is happening against your wish, but you should have taken actions, correct actions before going to this situation. This is proactiveness. So these are the 5 things. If we, I've also explained in other slides what does it mean and things like that. But I think I can stop here. With reference to imitative Islam, my first point, inherited from parents, imitated from the society. What society does, I do. My parents have done, I do. I may be doing wrong things. Then when we question why you are following instead of Quran and Sunnah, other things, we say our parents have done. Nanu vachasna abhavuna. We found our forefathers doing this, so we are doing the same thing. Our Hindus telling, you are also telling the same thing, then what is the difference? So what is the outcome? Misdirected, deviated following of Islam. Narrow-mindedness leading to sectarian loyalty. Our loyalty not with Islam, our loyalty with the group of people who follow this particular way. Loyalty is changed. Disunity. Then what is the result? Final outcome? Disunity. Muslims are never united. They have difference. Always Muslims differ. They have not unanimous agreement on something. They always differ, always quarrel. Why this? Because the starting point is not proper. So these are the things I explained in each. So I think time is up, and some other occasion, inshallah, I have got all those 20 questions. Each question I have a lesson. Each questions, basic question, I have a lesson. And these lessons are prepared for the Weekend Islamic School. I was teaching these students. So your today weekend program, which was planned by Dr. Najma, and with your cooperation, I think I could not justify. I was not feeling happy, but at least something I have conveyed you. I hope it makes sense to you. Yes.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair, Ustad Sayyid Ali. You actually changed our perspective towards understanding Islam. And the main question, like I already always had, like people are following all pillars of Islam, but they are not having that even the idea of doing a dawah or calling others to Islam. So that is the reason, because we are only adhering to the pillars of Islam, not understanding Islam as a complete thing. Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair. It was one of the best weekend we had, and we learned a lot today and even yesterday. Alhamdulillah. Anybody have any questions?
Any short question? You had good sleep? Whole day work and get tired, got tired.
So
Sorry? Yes, please.
my question is about the shortest line between two dots is a straight line, and it should be one line in one direction. So my question is, this is depending on the fact that all humans have similarities, like this is one species. But what about jinns?
What about
Jinn.
jinn?
So is it the same rulings, the same sharia, or is it different? Is it parallel line or the same line?
I have to be concerned about humans or jinns. Which is the priority? Human priority. This mess up priority is referring to that. Certain things, this knowledge is only theory. Nothing practical I have to do in that regard. If I know about jinn, many details, how does it matter? How does it matter? It doesn't matter my questioning in the qabr or the day of judgment. Allah will not ask, why did you did not know about jinns? He will not ask. So these are the things which, of course, knowledge is power. You should know. It doesn't mean that you should not know. But priority goes to things which matter us in practical terms. If the room is burning, what should be my reaction? Get away. I am not here to think about what started the fire. Whatever reason, fire is there. You have to save yourself. Save yourself. This is the message. Yeah. Whatever we do in order to save ourselves from doom. But knowledge about jinn, I have not myself made any research in that, because I felt that is not important as these basic things. These 6 building blocks drew main attention of my research and development. Other things are also there, for there is no limit. Knowledge is acquired from mahad to lahad, from cradle to grave. It is never ending. So knowledge is too vast. But in this particular knowledge, what is practical significance for me, this comes first. What is for me and for my family, children and friends, and then circle gets increased more. My society. So I'm sorry, I'm not knowledgeable in this. I have to accept. I'm not scholar. I talk only about basics. My specialty only basics, not scholarly. Scholarly, there are scholars, academics, much far superior. I have nothing. I'm zero in front of them. But I feel that scholars have not performed the job which they could have performed. And for that, scholars are not responsible. For that, I consider the system of education is responsible. Because the scholars are also product of same system of education where they study. So there basically is the problem. When this problem is there, naturally its products will also be problematic. So I don't blame persons or people. The system is to be blamed. So we need to look into how we can improve. It is not complaining, but it is proacting, how we can be better people, how we can be better human being. My whole thing comes down to one slogan which I have given for my weekend school. What is that? A good Muslim is a good human being, and a good human being is a good Muslim. Ultimately, this is the end. A good Muslim is a good human being, and a good human being has to be a good Muslim. Otherwise, he is not a good human being. Why he is not a good human being? Because he has removed the Creator's concept from his life, the true God, and he has taken some other. So he has failed in the first subject. So naturally, this is another topic. Good Muslim is a good human being, and good human being is a good Muslim. It has many questions also. There is one separate lecture on this. It needs a discussion. There are many questions attached to this. But I tell the tourists in the mosque, why do we pray? We pray so that we become a better human being. Become a better human being. Why? How I can? This is a system designed by the Creator, an opportunity to present before the Creator and imagining the Creator, standing before Him, that I am accountable to Him. So I might have done a lot of mistakes for which I ask for forgiveness. And lot of things I enjoy for which I have got lot of thanks to offer. That's why Salah Tana Anil Fashail Munkar. If I stop Munkarat, then I become good human being. This is Quran describes this. Innal ladhina amanu wa amilus salihati hum khairul bariya. That is best of creation, not only good human being. You are the best creature. If you believe and do good deeds, you are the best creature. So this particular statement which I made, I can correct to the Quran. So this is a good topic. And if Muslims understand this, nothing doing, they will definitely, inshallah, go towards becoming better person.
Today, my first standard, I am school, early school, I am Islamic, I am constant, I am answer, Adam Salam, Prophet Adam Salam, I make stronger, I am today from class, I am study drawing competition, I say Alam Surah, okay? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Jazakumullah khair. Dua Kafara, anybody? Dua kafara is to offer kafara of the majlis. We are sitting, we are talking, maybe we have some wrong things we have talked about which are not pleasing to Allah. So if we make this dua, then this is
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك